In the pulsing heart of the city of Elaris, a place where the skyline scraped at the stars and shadows whispered down alleyways, there lived a young, wealthy witch named Ayara. Her name rang through the elite circles, the mysterious woman in the black velvet gowns, the one who never aged, who always sat alone in the corner of every gala, sipping wine that glowed faintly blue. She had power, more money than the banks, and a penthouse that defied physics, but what she didn't have was companionship. Or love. Or the feeling of not being feared. One day Ayara decided to go to the fabric market herself to shop some fine cloths and fabrics, but this time without any bodyguards or security like she would normally. There she met Emeka, who she proceeds to buy fabrics from. They start to have a long discussion and Ayara watched him speak. He was everything the city tried to chew up and spit out. A young entrepreneur with a failing shop, maxed out credit, and an eviction notice folded like origami in his coat pocket. He met Ayara by accident, or so he thought. He was dumbfounded to see such a young woman, rich and sophisticated, so curiosity set in. How does she do it? How is she looking so rich? Emeka turned to her and said, "I can drive you home, if you don't mind." She smiles and agrees. She thought about him for days. Weeks. Her interest wasn't instant, but it was deep. Emeka had ambition beneath the desperation. Grit beneath the charm. And loneliness in his eyes that mirrored her own. That day Emeka linked up with his friend Malik. He told him about this mysterious lady he had met and how he wanted to get closer to her to know the source of her wealth. Malik advised him to be careful and not get too desperate, so one rainy night, she invited Emeka, offered him a drink, black glass, smoky flavor, laced with a whisper of something older than time. "Let me help you," she said. "I'll make your business thrive, your name known, your future golden. But in return, you stay. You love me. No lies. No living." Emeka, half drunk on failure and fantasy, agreed. "I will reveal to you that which makes me powerful," she says, "my pot of milk. If you drink from it, you drink wealth. Fame and all who laughed and mocked you will bow before you." So she took Emeka into a dark room and her face changed to a skull face with a pot of milk flowing. She gave some to Emeka and he drank from it. True to her words, Ayara made him a star. Emeka got home that day and saw a load of money in his wardrobe. Investors lined up. Tech blogs called him the digital alchemist. The city that once ignored him now flashed his name across billboards. His business blossomed. He moved into her world of marble floors and floating lights, wearing suits stitched by shadows and kissing her like she was magic itself. But of course, Emeka was not satisfied. He wanted more, he wanted it all. "I don't care about her," he said. "I want the pot of milk all to myself." So one night, Emeka sneaks into the dark room and attempts to steal the pot of milk. The next day, Ayara stepped into her dark room, only to find that her pot was gone. Shock turned quickly to frustration and rage. Furious, she immediately called Emeka, the one person she trusted, the one who had not only stolen her precious pot of milk but was now openly cheating on her and flaunting his time with other women. "You've destroyed me," she said, her voice trembling with fury. "I gave you everything. I asked for nothing in return but your love, and you stole from me. How could you?" Emeka stared coldly into her eyes and replied with venom, "You miserable old witch. What do you still need the pot for? You've lived your life. It's my time now. You should die and let me take over." His words sent a chill down her spine. In that moment, Ayara realized it was over. Without her enchanted pot of milk, she was powerless, stripped of her influence, her wealth, her very essence. She was left broken, poor, and forgotten. Weeks passed, and Ayara's world continued to crumble. Deserted, desperate, and reduced to begging, she returned to Emeka's doorstep, pleading for just a cup of milk to survive. But he laughed in her face and cast her back out into the cold streets. Not long after, Emeka stood in his grand mansion, boasting to his friend Malik. Surrounded by luxury, he bragged about how he had defeated the mysterious witch area and taken all her wealth and power for himself. But something about the story didn't sit right with Malik. As Emeka flaunted his riches and gloated about his betrayal, Malik's conscience stirred. This isn't right, Malik thought. I can't support this kind of betrayal or wealth built on evil. I must find the witch and return what was stolen from her. Determined, Malik set out in search of Area. He eventually found her in a lonely, crumbling place, far from the life she once knew. As he approached, he introduced himself cautiously. My name is Malik. I'm Emeka's friend, he said. Tell me how I can help you regain your power. Area looked at him with weary eyes and whispered, if you can bring me just 1 cup of milk from my pot, I will be able to reclaim my power and fight to restore all that was taken from me. Without hesitation, Malik sneaked into Emeka's home and stole a single cup of milk from the stolen pot. When he brought it back to Area, she drank it slowly. Her eyes began to glow with a brilliant blue light, and the air around her shimmered with energy. That night, as Malik watched in awe, Area stood tall once more, powerful, radiant, and ready to take back everything that was rightfully hers. On the day of Emeka's greatest triumph, an award ceremony in a glass tower she helped pay for, he gave a speech about hustle and believing in yourself. Suddenly, the lights went out, a shadow swept through the crowd. Screens melted. Glass shattered upward. And Emeka was gone, spirited away in silence. He woke in her penthouse, no windows. No doors, just Ayara, in a gown made of smoke and moonlight, eyes glowing faintly blue. You broke your promise, she whispered. I didn't mean to, you meant to win. And I wasn't part of the win, was I? He begged. Pleaded. Said her name like it still had power, but Ayara had given him everything, and in return, he tried to turn her into a tool. So, she made him into one. Now, in a secret room beneath her bookstore, Emeka sits, trapped in a mirror, cursed to reflect the ambitions of anyone who stands before him. A warning. A lesson. A relic. An Ayara, she still goes to galas, still drinks wine that glows blue, still sits alone, but now, when someone asks what she wants, she only smiles and says,
nothing you'll be willing to give for free.